Hello and welcome. Welcome to Dragon Memoria. Yay! What is Dragon Memoria, you may ask? Well, it's a group of people playing Dungeons & Dragons, or more specific. I got that backward. It's Dungeons & Dragons, or more specifically a group of people playing Dungeons & Dragons. Should really change that introduction, because I'm trying to broaden a little bit into tabletop RPGs in general, not just Dungeons & Dragons. Alright. Yeah, you know, one day there might be a game of another game system. Who knows? I specifically went and got 3 more, I think. I have Ars Magica that I'm just starting to learn the rule. Mechton, which is for essentially if you ever wanted to play in any sort of mecha animes from the 80s and 90s. That's the game system you want to have. I would probably try and duplicate something like Armored Core with it, though. I got the Avatar The Last Airbender, the official one. I'd be curious to learn more about this one. And Transformer, also the latest and only official one there is out there. So who knows, maybe one day you'll find this group playing that. Probably not, but I'm not sure I would be able to interest each one of you in playing one of those other game systems. Oh, maybe Ars Magica, because there are some resemblance, but we'd have to talk about the whole thing.
I'm interested in trying like a sci-fi.
Mecha thing? Yeah. It's the only one that I actually played before. The other ones, it's just learning it by reading the books. I haven't played with anyone. But the other one, yeah. Mechton. So, what was I saying? Dungeons and Dragons. If this isn't something you want to watch, well, go do something else. It's as simple as that. It doesn't need to be more complicated. Just go do something else. But if you actually want to watch this, no matter the reason, so long as you stay civil in the chat, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Now, Remy is supposed to be there. He talked a little earlier today. I don't know where he is. Let's hope he didn't fall asleep. I'm going to try and send him a message. We need Remy. Let's go with 2 exclamation mark. Hey, he just came online. I'm doing magic. Alright, so let's give him a moment to power his computer, or maybe he just had an update. Alright. Last episode. The party finished its preparation before moving out for a small quest that needed no large amount of preparation at all. Oh goodness. The last camera is here. Hold on.
Sneak attack!
It's a really sneak attack because it put every single camera out of line. But hold on.
It was a critical hit.
Everyone just succeeded in their... Oh, come on, no, stop. Everyone just succeeded in their perception roll, and boom! Good lord.
You never see me coming. Now I gotta stop before we get a copyright strike.
Dun dun. Alright. So, well, as I was saying, last episode, the party finished its preparations before moving out for a small quest that needed no large amount of preparation at all. The party opted to make a heist in a mage tower located in one of the major cities of the Misttle Island chain. one of our heroes being a wanted criminal in that city, the party knew they needed to enter the city covertly. Fortunately for them, upon arriving, it appeared the weather was on their side, as the city was in the middle of a freezing rain episode. And yes, I looked. Sleet is the step before freezing rain. So, freezing rain is just a little bit worse. Taking advantage of such a phenomenon, our heroes incited a riot in the population so they would force a conflict between the guard and the population, covering their entrance into the most prestigious part of the city. And that is where we left off. With the audience happy with himself. He managed to get his friends inside of the city. No one knows they're there. Well, there might be a bloodbath at the entrance somewhere, but, you know, like the music said, we shouldn't cry over a little detail. Just keep going until you run out of cake. Please, someone know. Please, someone tell me he knows where that came from. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know it's Portal, but
Yeah, okay.
can't think of a line from the song.
At least you know the game. Well, it's
And the
the
science gets done, and
Done
you get
and
a
we
neat
gun
gun
for
for
those
people
still
who are
alive.
still alive. All right, that was about 8 seconds.
It's one of my favorite villains, and a really good song. I almost knew it by heart. I gotta start training a little bit more. Forgot too many parts of the
I think
song.
I still know it by heart.
I would call her a misunderstood hero, actually.
Interesting. Interesting. Take. I'm not super familiar with Portal, but I mean,
Well, you
You
know,
played Portal 2?
no.
Okay, then you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil
Portal
it
2,
in case you ever want to play.
Yeah. You get more backstory in it.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes when she sees you for the first time, it's the I tested you, you tested me. You killed me, oh wait, I didn't kill you. Food for thought. GLaDOS. Alright, so, jumping back inside of all of this. Oh, funny enough, there's supposed to be rain in the background right now. Well, it's supposed to hit a little bit harder than rain, and there isn't supposed to be any thunderstorm in the background. So maybe it sounds a bit more like this outside. Yeah, a little. It's. Yeah, well, anyways. I don't have the exact sound for that. So, you managed to get in. In front of you, you see all of the guards trying to push back the peasant riot, trying to push through the most fortunate part of the city. Remy is taking just a little bit more time because he's retrieving the lever and making its way back to you all. Like I said before we started, Fisher, you're probably hearing from inside of you Terranad saying, yes, and you're sure you can reform him? Because it really doesn't look like he's the type to be reformed easily. He just incited a riot amongst the population to make sure that we all could enter a well-defended place. He manipulated people into almost sacrificing themselves so you could enter, all for the greater good.
The greater good.
The greater good.
I'm committed to being a villain. That's it.
Yeah.
Audience is a villain now.
Like, that's it. That's the
Hey,
tweet.
that was fast.
Look at him.
That one
He's
dream
so
put too
proud
much
of what he just did.
responsibility on him. He's like, nah. Nothing. Be a villain instead.
Villain instead.
Look at him. He's so proud of what he done.
Look,
who
Daddy,
am I
I made
writing
this.
on?
What? What did you say?
As a mouse, I'm writing on somebody
Audience.
or audience. You hear squeaking, and it sounds exasperated and a little stressed out.
Audience, it's probably just the freezing rain, you know. It's starting to accumulate on his body. You see that the ending of his tail has a little bit of ice stuck to it. Jorg is probably frustrated because, you know, he's not used to lugging around pieces of ice on his tail. Well, he's not used to having a tail, period.
Dare to dream.
All together in like an alley. Right now?
Yeah, it takes just a few moments. Remy did not take an hour to join back to you. It's just that little bit of conversation that happens in the maybe 5 or 6 minutes that Remy takes to rejoin with all of you. And so, under the freezing rain, which is slowly transforming the streets into large skating ring, you're all reunited.
Woo.
Actually, a ring is kind of a good name. 2/3 of a ring, anyway.
So, guys, I just thought of a problem.
You just thought of a problem?
You just thought of a problem.
Yeah, well, I've kind of been weighing it since we got to this city.
Yeah, I noticed that.
What?
But I realized that we actually have no plan to how to actually, even if we can get to it, how to get out a giant, super heavy.
I asked
Cellar.
that. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably just use this day as a reconnaissance mission, see how far we can get, to figure out everything, and then we'll come back.
A lot of
Sorry, was that not already the plan? Because that was already the plan.
Okay.
I'm not sure why you started a riot when that was the plan, but you know.
Well, it got us further.
Did it
Now
though?
we just have to start a riot to get in
we
the
could have
next time.
definitely just walked through that gate on our own.
Yeah, what
Maybe.
was stopping us from entering the castle?
It's not even the castle. It's like the wealthy district.
Yeah.
We're wealthy.
Yeah,
The
wealthy district. 100% could have just walked in here.
But they're going to be more distracted now, so it's going to be easier to infiltrate the next part and actually
Are
figure
they
out
going to be
about the
more
wizard.
distracted, or are they going to be more vigilant?
Distracted.
Then you see a group of 12 guards just rushing down the street, almost sliding as they're trying to make their way to the gate.
I mean, they'll be
When they
more
figure
alert
out
at
what
the
happened
gate.
down there, and they're like, and then everybody's like, "Wait, where'd the guy that told us to do this go?" They're going to be looking for all of us.
Mm.
'Cause
Well,
all
we
came-
were, in the mob, but were we like? I guess we were like some random
Audience
adventurers. I
was
guess.
100% the head of the mob.
And he was seen shapeshifting by at least a few people.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm not me. I'm someone else.
Yeah, but everybody knows that also. Because they
I'm sh-
saw you do it again.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yep.
From inside of you, Fisher, you hear, yes, of course, because there are absolutely no other group inside of the city trying to enter, which is a combination of a druid, an arcane machine, and a mimicking bird. Flightless bird.
That's okay.
Yep. That's
Essentially, he's the only one no one's gonna suspect, and you're the rest of the group, which everyone's gonna be looking for. Congratulations. He's gonna go free, and you're all gonna go to prison.
All right, so we're all gonna get disguised self potions for the next time we come in.
You didn't hear that. Only Fisher heard that.
Incidentally, it is a little bit funny. I can't say ironic because it's completely expected that the one with a thieving background is the one that's going to get away with a series of crimes.
well. Just to be safe, I will cast disguise self on myself, making me look like a human fighter. John Smith, human fighter.
John.
The problem is, my face doesn't really do emotions, so the human face doesn't really move.
Audience is going to turn himself into
literally
a
murder.
Still seems very robotic.
I'm going to turn myself into a noble. Or just a rich-looking person.
I'm gonna stay a mouse in your pocket.
So
you could be my mute. You could be my mute bodyguard, Fisher.
All right, so now we got
the strong silent type, not necessarily mute.
Yeah, you're strong and silent, and don't show a lot of. You're very stoic. That's the word I'm looking for.
There we go. Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm getting weird vibes of Minx and Boo. So we got a mouse. We got a warrior. I know technically he's not a warrior, but. So tell me, audience, are you transforming yourself into a wealthy dragonborn or a wealthy 7-foot-tall human?
6-foot-tall human. I can go a foot shorter.
Okay.
6 feet is not weird.
Well,
it's tall, but it's not like unusually tall.
For a human, well, yeah, okay. It is unusual, but it's not unusually. Okay.
All right. Let's go get some more information. Now that we're in the rich person district, where they might actually know about the mages.
What about Remy? Does he still look like a black bird that no one knows he can't fly?
Avian.
It's like for some reason, Raimi is very irked by a thought that crossed Jorg's mind. And here because he's a rat.
Raimi, you should make yourself look like a child, because then we'll gain sympathy points. Because people love children.
We could be running from the... Well, I'm a mouse. You can't hear me. Wait, can we do psychic?
Use psychic.
Can we do psychic? I mean, someone can cast.
That would have to be Raimi.
Yeah, Raimi can cast.
Well, I'm a mouse, so you have to think of that on your own.
Well, you already talked to
or
everyone.
Back.
You already participated just a little bit in the conversation, so you had to change back. So that's your second transformation. You can say
no, if I change back,
you could say that you waited until you changed back into a mouse and suggested that we all be connected psychically through magic.
Yeah. Well, if I didn't change back if I had to transform, so then in that case I'll just be
a mouse.
Human. Well, if I contributed to the conversation, I'll just go back to
You.
Yeah.
being human. Yeah.
To be fair, you are the least. Like, I think people don't really care.
I'm just some rando.
You are just a random guy.
You look like a beggar.
Oh god, I do. I gotta look less like a beggar for this fancy area.
No, you could look like a beggar. You could be a beggar that got into the fancy area.
They kick those people out, audience.
Not when they're with a noble.
We need like a reason I'd be with a noble.
Kind of confused. Yeah, that's definitely gonna.
I'm doing an act of charity.
I'm your brother's good for nothing son. And
I'm very charitable. I take care of children and beggars. Remy can be the child and Jordan can be the beggar.
Okay.
Why is Remy a child? Because he doesn't talk?
Because he's
short.
5 feet tall.
Oh.
I like what Remy. Yeah, I like what Fisher said better. Because he's short.
You could also just be a short person or a tall dwarf.
I could, but that would get us less sympathy points.
So Remy has a choice: a halfling or a child. Both get good sympathy.
A 5 foot tall halfling seems pretty.
He can go to 4 feet.
Unusually tall.
You can go to 4 feet. You can change your height by a foot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be a tall half.
But then when you go to pat him on the head, you hit a foot above his head.
Oh, so you're not actually taller.
Remy, what are you turning into?
This guy's self is not. It's literally just an illusion.
It is just an illusion.
So, what does Remy decide?
Remy will. Honestly, this is an okay use of a resource. Remy will first take a minute to attach a different cowl to his cloak.
Okay.
And then he will use a charge to cast Disguise Self on himself.
Okay.
And he will turn... Yeah, he'll turn into about a 5 foot child wearing a cloak.
Okay.
Remy figures that he has a lot more consistent, child voices than he does cheerful halfling voices.
Okay.
All right.
So, with everyone having taken the new identity, you decide to all go venturing into the city. Now, was there such a huge drain on my resources?
Well, the Cloud Top. I don't know if it's called the Cloud Top District, but the Rich Person District.
Yeah. So, the way that the cities usually create themselves. What is that here? Oh, here we go.
Well, yeah, it's like the peasants are at the exterior first, so that during an invasion, they're killed off. Meanwhile, the noblemen have enough time to build up the defenses to the inner wall, and...
Well, it sort of ends up being like this, but usually what happens is when the castle starts initially, there's the town that forms around it, and then eventually there's a wall. And then, as always, people start creating new building outside of the wall, and eventually the noble become too numerous to stay inside of the castle, and they start populating the outer ring, the one around the castle. And here you go. You have and nobility.
Zach was
ring.
making a joke, but
oh no! But it's sort of a valid explanation because cities don't necessarily build like this. It's something that happens in the Misttle Island chain and most likely the rest of my world. Because I don't want to create a way that city are built in every single island chain. So
My city will be built and defended by the corpses of the common folk.
We
Anyway.
built this city. Built this city on the corpses of.
Built by the.
That seems unstable.
Yeah.
Or that they like die. It's more of a metaphor if they died while building and defending the city. But yes.
Yeah.
I mean, do
Than
you know
an
how many
actual-
people fell as a result of the building of the Wall of China?
generations.
They,
Makes for
noble
good
sacrifice.
compost. Yeah. Makes for good compost. Why do you think the trees are so pretty inside of the city? You know, all the dead people.
All right. I guess we'll go to the. I assume there's like a market or like an upper market, like.
Well, right now it's still a rather bad
true.
weather, so you probably have a better chance at meeting a whole lot of people inside of an inn. It's probably
Okay.
not going to last, several days. Weathers like this usually last few hours until there's a drastic change in temperature, which is
Actually-
usually at most when night comes.
Audience is going to use his brain, and he's going to go to a high-end magic shop where all the high-end wizards would normally probably shop for their crystals and stuff, and would probably know what wizards come in and out and what they're working on.
Scary. Audience is using brains.
If you want, I can also. Well, actually, they're wizards. I don't know what kind of sensory tools they might have. So never mind. I was gonna say I could turn into a mouse and sneak around, but
Don't sneak into a high-end magic shop with high-end magical equipment. A lot of alarms usually.
yeah,
in
that's
there.
what I was. That's what I was thinking.
And also usually some quite nasty traps.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Raimi is now reminiscing about his brief trip to a jewelry store with Thykar. And it's like all of the magically detected traps that he could see.
So, using audience's intuition, you decide to...
Sorry.
Good heavens. You decide to go to a magic shop. It takes just a little bit of time, but you're in the richer part of the city, so it's easy to find something that helps you find your way. Most likely, indication, I don't remember the name in English. Anyway. Place where you put where everything is. Usually put this at crossroads. Anyways, it just slipped my mind. So, I was going to say make a perception roll to see how long it takes, but just remember that it's partially the natural environment of Remy, so... Yeah. Let's find a magic shop. And then he pulls on someone's sleeves and points in the direction. So
Just gives a sigh.
It feels like unnatural intuition, but Remy finds this little shop, half hidden, but also not. It feels like there's a part of this that is also maybe a small test to see if you can see it, then you know a little bit about magic, so you should come in. And so you find your way inside of it.
Me, good sir?
Audience will make his way inside, I assume, with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
When you enter inside, the wetness and coldness of the rain outside fades immediately. It's as if it's evaporating as you are entering. And there is a sweet scent. You're not sure of what. It reminds you of flowers, but you can't put your finger on which one. But it fills the area, and it is both sweet and musky at the same time. Everything is well lit. There are rugs and tapestry of either red or purple everywhere. There is a large, what looks like an arcane construct in the middle of the store. It's not moving right now, but it is so well made that it is hard to believe that it's either not something that watches over the store or something that is going to move the moment you step toward it. This place is wall to wall filled with oddly ostentatious creations, which would probably ring a bell inside of Remy's mind, giving you a warning of, yeah, usually when they do that, it's sort of a, come on, try it, steal, go on. You barely made 3 steps inside of the shop, and then immediately there is a blue aura that comes from audience Remy and Fisher. It's faint, but it's there. And you notice it. You just have this, oh, why am I shining blue?
Probably because we're covered with illusions.
What are you doing?
I'll say, is there a shopkeep here?
Just own it.
When you ask that question, you see the arcane construct at the center of the shop starting to move. Just, yes. I was not expecting anyone today. Welcome, customers. How may I be of service?
I'm here for information and a moment of your time, if you have it.
Well, seeing as most people are either hiding or staying at home right now, I think I do not have much of a choice. You have my undivided attention, so long as none of your friends decide to take advantage of their illusory appearance and do something they should not do.
My apologies. The illusion is not meant for you. I would never insult someone of your stature with such a simple base illusion. It is simply to change our appearance for the mystique for the guards and other commoners outside.
Trying to figure out if you should be making a persuasion or deception roll.
I don't think I'm lying.
No, I don't think. No, you're not lying, but you kind of are bullshitting him.
Not really. I think Owen said was in his mind truthful. He didn't really think the
Okay.
illusions would work in here. So he told them why he had the illusions on.
All right, make a persuasion roll then.
Well, the real question is, like, can he already see through the solution? No, not solutions,
So he probably
illusions.
can. I rolled a 30 anyway on my persuasion.
Because at the very least, if he can already see through the illusion, then at the very least, looking at Raimi, he'd probably understand why he's illusory. Just
Well,
easier.
He didn't make any attempt at preventing you from entering. But his comment does seem to at least suggest he knows you are hidden under an illusion. And by definition, many illusion, once you are aware of them, they lose part of their efficiency.
I rolled a 30 on my persuasion.
Their potency.
You see the machine looks at you for a brief moment. And for you, Fisher, it's a bit more obvious than for everyone else. But it's in the way that the machine moves. It's in the way that he takes a moment to decide how he's going to answer. Whether you decide to share this with the rest of the group, that is really up to you. You don't think he's sentient. I think you're muted.
Yes, because I was sneezing. I don't think he's sentient.
No.
Okay.
You think he's a very elaborate machine, and he has a very wide range of possible answers that he can give, but you don't think he's actually sentient.
All right.
Well, very well then. So, how may I help this hopefully noble group of adventurers in our noble shop?
Of course. Well, you see, we came to the city with a problem. And it's a fairly simple problem, but one that has become fairly complicated as well. You see, not long ago, a large, I'd say, pillar with runes was teleported near the city, and I believe was procured by one of the higher end wizards of the city. Unfortunately, the organization that I work for was in need of this pillar, as its runes and enchantments are most important to a mission that, in fact, I might dare say the entire world could be at stake around. Now, it is our, of course, mission to procure or re-procure this pillar from the wizard. However, as I do not know his personality, background, what resources he has spent to procure it, and also knowing the difficult nature of wizards, as I'm sure you are aware, owning a magic shop, I'm not quite sure how difficult it may be to re-procure this pillar from this fine gentleman, let's say. So I was wondering if you had perhaps any information on who it was and whether you think the best tact would be to entreat them to give us this pillar back, as we need it most for our organization and our mission.
There is a long pause. His head moves slowly to each one of you, nearly in a not maniacal way, mechanical way.
Mwahahaha!
Eventually he says, that is an oddly specific request. May I ask what is the organization you work for, and where are they positioned in this island chain?
They are in... Well, I do not know if I can divulge the name. They are a organization that works with many of the high-level organizations of this chain. I'll hold out my coin. You may know of some of their names, and I'll basically state the name of the lot of high-end like adventurers that work for them. Meaning basically some of the names of the very high-end party member, like party that states, as well as a few of the other high ones.
There aren't a lot of wizard inside of the.
No, I would specifically have named some of the high-end wizards that have worked in case the magic shop owner knows about them.
We are simply known as the farm.
Ben.
I believe some of these names may mean something to you.
What I'm wondering is, what is for you a level that is high end? Because, of course, Temptress is a sorceress. She might have had dealings in higher end magics. Otherwise, there is Darkaheng, which is also involved in magic, but he is a summoner, so there is always the two other wizards, and this is where I'm wondering if you would have mentioned them. Lofiralis, he's an elven wizard, so there's a very low chance that he's going to have tried to have a lot of interaction with humans and human wizards.
I would not have mentioned him. He was not really on my radar, to be honest.
Okay. Otherwise, there is Danirsa.
Who I would have mentioned.
Which you think is of equivalent level to you. So either 1 or 2 level higher or lower. But, being level 12, it is not a out of place statement to say that she is one of the most powerful evokers of your world.
I would have also mentioned that I was friends with Ami Ali's sister, who also is a well-known probably wizard.
Antasia, all right.
Or diviner, but yes. Magic user.
Okay.
No, screw it. While I'm going about it, let's drop all my titles. But, we're also have worked and are close allies with the Silver Dragon. Just so he knows that we're people of distinguished. I'll also mention that we're allies of the Silver Dragon. I'll use her name as well.
Okay.
There you go. There are titles. There are accomplishments. Do with them as you must.
Well, oddly and not oddly enough, I think Fisher would probably have had a reflex because you were actually there when it happened. And I think Remy also was there when it happened. Not sure, but I think he was. Because I remember saying that Remy would have sort of been a bit aware of what it meant to say this. When you say Danirsa, I don't know, Fisher and Remy probably had a reflex of, maybe too late, he said it. Because she is tied to one of the most powerful merchant family there is in the world, but also partially the underworld. Her father is excessively rich, has more resource than most kingdom have, and has ties in many, although not bloodbath related, guild. Poaching, people acquiring things for a price. doesn't have a reputation of killing people in droves, but he does have the reputation of being able to break a kingdom if he wants.
You know what? If this random shopkeeper wants to think that we're super high-end mafia hitmen of like coming in to collect, that's fine. He can think that.
Well, probably the one that would have felt the most uncomfortable with you mentioning this would be Remy, because it is impossible that if your guild is at least of average standing in the world of criminality, you haven't at least once done business with them. And they certainly feel like the kind of person that will treat you fairly, but will make sure that you live to regret ever having been born if you try and cross them. And that you will lose the desire to retaliate in any way possible.
Well, these are the names audience dropped. How does the shopkeeper react?
There was a long pause. He started sort of analyzing everything you just said. And then
Buffering. Sorry.
And then he ends up. He finishes adding. I see. Well, as impressive as this list of people can be, of course, I have no actual proof that you belong to any of their organization and are willing to do commerce in their name. Might you have a proof of this?
I think we have some proof.
I lean over to whisper to audience.
Mhm.
Also, this guy's in the shop, or the shopkeeper, but he's not. He's the clerk.
He's the clerk.
It's not sentient.
I assumed, but I also assumed the shopkeeper is basically doesn't want to put himself before us, but is basically we are interacting somewhat with him. I assume he knows what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
He probably sees a party of illusion adventurers as like, yeah, I'm not going to put myself immediately in like physical reach of them.
Fair enough.
Did we get anything from the dragon? Does anyone know to like prove her name, or did we get anything from? I know we have the gold coin to represent the garden.
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
We could scream her name really loudly and
Nah, I'm not gonna do it. That's okay. I'll say, well, the only physical proof I have of the organization I mentioned is this gold coin. I don't know if you're aware of it, of most of the adventures I've mentioned having it. I'll say showing him my gold coin as proof. As for the dragon, if you can see through my illusion and judge my words for that, you should know that I am not one to easily lie, nor am I lying to you of that moment. And I'll make a persuasion roll on that.
Okay.
Because I'm not lying. Oh, that's a nat 20 for 31.
That's going to be fun during a fight later tonight. He's burning all of his natural 20s. We all know what that means. Audien's going to try and attack an enemy. It's going to be 1-1-1. Damn it.
That's okay. Audience is pulling out the elegant shopkeep dialogue right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I keep saying it. I keep repeating it every single episode for past 5 episodes, you've all reached a point where you can do things which people consider impossible or extremely difficult, but for you it's just a little
Tuesday.
bit. Yeah, it's just barely worth mentioning the effort you have to put in. Your average is higher than the best that someone in the general population can do.
We have access to power others might deem unnatural.
Among other things.
All right. Does the shopkeeper believe me on a 31 persuasion?
I believe you.
31, you can
Thanks, man.
probably manage to convince saints and angels with this. There's a brief moment, there's a pause. The machine in front of you looks at all of your party. And then back at you, audience. Any answers? Well, yes, of course. I can easily see what is below the surface, and I can easily see that you are convinced of what you are saying. But as you are well aware, you could be under the influence of something else. You are asking for very important information, very sensitive information about prominent people of this city.
Yes. I mean, you're a magic shop. You should have a way to tell if we're under the influence of something. Just as you can
Table,
see
you
that we're
didn't mean
under
magical.
illusions. If you wish to not give us the information, you need just say so and we can leave. But you don't need to play so coy. Or if there's something you want, just come out and say it. No need to beat around the bush.
There is a brief pause when you say if there's something you want. Then, after a moment, the machine answers, well, yes, of course. If you wish to make a contribution to this humble shop, something can always be arranged.
I'm gonna look around the shop. Does anything catch my, Remy, anyone's eye in particular?
Well,
I said Remy because Remy could probably judge value better than
well, of
other
course.
people.
Like, would you happen to be interested in this ivory cat figurine? It'll only cost you 2,000 platinum.
And 1/10 of your soul. Well, as you all look around, Jorg, you're probably the one who feel the least attracted to everything that's there, because everything is arcane made. It's essentially, for you, all you can see is one way or the other, it's blood of something. That's the blood of a creature. That's the blood of the land. That's the blood.
Oh, that's a blood of the creature and blood of the land mixed together.
Oh my
This is
god.
when Fisher pulls out the line, just says, and how much are you? And just looks directly at the machine.
How much is that construct in the window?
Interesting. Fisher and audience, when you look around, everything is incredibly beautifully made. It's very clear and very easy to see that those are the flashiest thing you could possibly put inside of a store. It's spit shine polished. There's probably a few illusion that allows you to be bewildered a little bit more than you should by some of them, drawing your attention to object filled with gems, with shapes that nearly defies logic. Remy, you're probably the only one who looks at this, and for you, it is obvious that this is meant to be the place where a rogue will enter and think he hit the jackpot. Just because he doesn't know that the best and most incredible object are probably behind the door that is on the other side of this part of the shop.
Do you say anything or point, Remy? Because I am looking at you. I'm looking at you as a child, even though he knows you're not a child.
It's most likely the place where most people will be interested in trying to buy something, and the place where it is supposed to be the kill box for rogues trying to get inside. Because, oh wow, everything is so shiny, it's beautiful, there's so much stuff, I'm gonna be rich stealing this. But the best is on the other side of the door over there.
All the stuff out here is the bait showpieces.
Yeah, bait show pieces.
Like, Raimi will actually point at the door.
Okay, audience can understand. I'll say, I would love to make a worthy donation, but I believe there are no pieces worth my time out here where we are speaking.
The machine waits for a moment. Then he looks at each one of you. You see the disdain in Jorg's eyes. The Fisher.
You know, nature do all this.
Well, there is a weird mushroom over there that doesn't seem to be harmed in any way. That's the only thing that has some kind of attraction to you.
You know me.
But, it seems to be purple and swaying and kind of had eyes and looking at you. Oh, no, that's your background. Sorry. That was too easy. Sorry. Probably Fisher and audience is... since audience was looking at Remy, you sort of had the element of, oh, okay, back door. Fisher, I mean, it is pretty impressive, everything that's there. And to be quite honest, because you've started on the path of wizardry, before audience said anything, you sort of had that moment of, wow, well, there's a lot of impressive stuff. And then when audience said something, you sort of had that moment of, well, that makes sense. Why was I fooled like this?
You just hear disappointed inside you from Terry.
Internet doesn't hear my thoughts.
First
That's
of
why
all,
it seems so weird when I have to talk.
All right.
Well, he is aware of your feelings. You are connected in some way. But he's aware of your thought subconsciously. That's why he can't access them. But when you are inside of that mental fortress, yes, he can definitely access your thoughts, because it's essentially what you're doing. You're thinking. You're not actually talking to it. The machine takes a moment, looks at all of you for a brief moment, notice the disdain in Jorg's eyes, and the certainty in Remy's eyes when looking at the door at the other end of the store. And the machine says, "Ah, very well. Please make your way to the door at the other end of the store." wait once you get there. Someone will let you in.
All right. I will follow instructions.
All right. Everyone follows, even Jorg.
I'll follow.
Including Jorg.
Jorg's like, this is why I hate cities.
Yeah, for you, Jorg, all of this is the embodiment of everything that's wrong with civilization.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that would make all of this even worse would be if there were some very industrial looking machines on top of everything that's here. Now then you'd have the sum of everything you hate about society.
Yeah. But still.
Even worse, I think for you, you know that it is unavoidable in human society, in humanoid society, to have this aspect of things. But it also represents how fear can push people. Because it is fear of not being able to control the environment around them that pushes many people to seek power. And this is what it looks like when humanoids seek power.
Yeah.
Devotion,
Fear.
priestly devotion is a hard path.
Yeah.
But it is one of respect also for
One
the
of
powers that already exist.
Mm-hmm.
Wizards
To
tend
let
to
them-
try and force power to answer the
Yeah.
bell.
There's plenty of power if you just let it speak through you.
Yeah. So you all move at the back end of the store while Jorg is mumbling all of this.
Grumble.
Mumbling several druidic curses.
Then you have that mushroom in
Several.
the background that just goes, oh? You reach the door at the other end, and it looks more like a door made out of cloth than an actual door. But the audience, unless your friends try to push you in, as you said, you wait for someone to signal. It takes.
We'll push you in. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
What are you waiting for, audience?
Why don't you take a closer look?
There is a brief shimmer, and then the cloth door seems to become soft again. Something you hadn't seen or realized before, but it does appear like it has become soft again. Just making sure. Okay, I couldn't see your eyes blinking. I thought the camera might have frozen.
I'm blinking.
I was just looking at the camera. It hasn't blinked in a while. I think the camera's frozen. So... Okay, no. Okay, on Discord I can see you blink. Takes a moment, and you hear a voice just go, "Please, please, come in, come in."
All right, I'll come in.
You all go inside, and what you see is slightly surprising, but also not. But mostly probably very frustrating for Remy. you see a very tall creature dressed in wizardly robes. But you recognize a flying creature. You'd want to say that it is the same type of race as Thykar, but then again, you're looking at this and it doesn't make sense for someone of his race to be a wizard like this. So, you're not sure which race it is, but it is very tall. It definitely has feathers everywhere. There's something about his robe that feels like there might be wings under it. Large wings that, just like bats, can collapse on themselves completely and just wrap around. But there's a cloak on top of it. It's giving the impression that he has very big and wide shoulders. But his face, it definitely feels bird-like, with a strong curved beak and big eyes. There's something slightly strange in the way that his head look, because it is avian, but the way that the feathers are arranged looks like a dragon, but it's not a dragon. It's just look dragony in shape. If you...
I mean, we've only ever met a singular feathered dragon, like, but we know roughly where they are, and they would definitely recognize us. I'm not sure if Raimi would even know if there was such thing as feathered dragonborn. Are there?
There's the white dragons that's kind of feathered.
No, but like a feathered dragonborn.
Oh, audience doesn't know.
Jorg,
I don't think Raimi does either.
Jorg, make a nature roll for me, please.
Nat 20. Look at me wasting my nat 20s too. So that's
We have to make sure we don't get into combat this session.
Yeah.
The wizard raises their
Yeah.
hand. Roll
also because we're in a
initiative.
wizard store and a castle. If we get into combat, it's gonna be pretty hard to get out of. Yeah. So nature. So 24.
Okay. So it takes a moment for you to recognize this, and you have this odd moment of, nah, that can't be. That's such a weird mix. But then again, you have the moment of, well, I guess you've heard about not hawk people, owl people. They're rare, but they do exist. But this is a very specific type of owl. You want to say it's a type of nightjar owl. It is an actual type of owl that exists here. A nightjar, if you want to look it does have the shape of the head. The feathers do have resemblance to the shape of a dragon head. And it is a nocturnal bird. Now everyone's
cool
looking at Nightjar.
Sorry, there are only snow owls and barred owls, and that's it.
Weird Nightjar.
Yeah, there's the one from Harry Potter, and there's the one in the Barnes.
Nightjar, Nijht, and Jars. Nightjars. Also called a nighthawk, but it is a nocturnal bird.
All right.
So, welcome.
Nice.
well, they don't always have their mouth open, but
They look like a
All the
reptile
pig-
when they have it.
yes, the head is closer to reptile than dragon, but it is the closest thing you'll ever get in a bird to
Yeah.
looking like a dragon.
That's a better dragon.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. That's the. Welcome to my humble shop, adventurers. Now you are looking to add to my collection. Please look around, see if there's anything that draws your attention. You see things coming from everywhere in the world, things that you've never seen before. Object which seems to shift their own shape, gems with odd pattern inside. Remy, the moment you enter, it feels like your ears just went beep and your eyes wide and you're just going like this.
Ding da ding da ding da ding dun.
There are things that are elven in origin, dwarven in origin, dragon in origin, the different types of architecture, of how they're made. It is apparent that this is a collector, someone that has traveled the 4 corners of the world, maybe 5, because magic exists.
Fifth dimension.
And has collected things throughout who knows how many years, decades, maybe even centuries. Some wizard have actually learned how to extend their lives.
Clone spell abuse.
And since we're here anyway, does he have an item that would help someone transport a very large object?
That's very hard to tell. You need to take a moment to look around.
Look, it's the relocatinator.
Do you ask?
Well, he's a collector. He might have something. I don't know. Might as well look.
Do you just look, or do you ask him actually?
Sure, I'll ask. He knows why we're here anyway.
Portable
I mean, it's
hole
not hard to
dig
tell that
out?
Raimi's looking.
Yes, of course. You wish to know about the magical object which fell from the sky. And of course, you want to have it, as do so many people. While the object is, of course, very interesting in its nature, it is more a question of why was it made, because it doesn't look this refined. It more looks like someone was trying to figure out something and created something else.
It's a prototype object.
I knew it says something like this. It looked way too rough, rugged, to be something of refinement, something that had actually interesting finished values. But now I wonder why you want it. What is its purpose? That would be the only thing I could not find out.
Is this guy just the wizard that has it and is just trying to get money from
Sounds
us?
like he just has it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, does this guy
If
just
he
have
tell
it?
you-
Or he's the one who found it and sold it to the guy who now has it.
Yeah, one of the two.
It's really not
Should we just ask him if he has?
as interesting as you might.
No, I won't be that blunt.
It's really up to you.
We'll continue to play the game a little bit.
So, tell me, what is it for, actually? What is it supposed to be doing?
Well, that sounds like valuable information that we have that you do not.
Ah,
And you-
and now
you
we
have
are bargaining.
We are.
He has a moment where he looks at you, and then he looks at Fisher, and then Jorg, then he looks at Remy, and just go, over here, little one.
Rude.
Would you consider that information a valid donation to the shop in terms of the information we are looking for?
That is hard to tell, because I do not know what you wish to tell me. What if it's something very mundane?
I'll say
result of
this,
an
you will
unproven-
find-
Something very mundane.
Well, if it's the result of a very untalented wizard trying to understand the mysteries of the world, that is mundane, because I am sure someone else can easily find a more refined way of doing whatever it might have been doing. But if it wasn't,
I will
then
tell
who
you this.
knows?
There are a few people you will meet on this world that know more about this rod than we do. And I will also say this, it is not mundane. Many lives have already been lost around the experiments of this rod. It was not meant for a simple mundane spell.
Very mysterious. A very intriguing. Very well, then. Information for information. I tell you one thing, you tell me one thing.
Very well. As the
You're
customer,
muted, Remy.
Sorry, it's just stupid joke. Does it have a vibrating function?
Damn, the thing's pretty big, my guy.
Alright, so what do you say, audience?
I'll say that rod is not the entire piece of it. It is but simply a part of a greater spell.
Oh, now you're not playing fair. You barely gave me something that is of interest. What type of information would you want for something so insignificant?
That's not what you said. You said I say one thing and you say one as well.
Oh, well, in that case, what can I say which would be of equal value? I am not the information exchanger. I am not an expert at figuring out what is of equal value. But yes, the object drew many wondering eyes' attention. A large spike falling from the skies on the other side of the forest, near the road. Oh, very mysterious. Remy, at that moment, you sort of have that moment in your mind going, wait a minute, on the other side of the forest? Oh, god damn it, we were half a day away from it when we teleported to the mountain.
Yeah, but we had no idea.
No,
Half a
you
day
had
away,
none.
and like,
Neither did I.
Blah, blah.
Neither did I. I figured it out during the after the game. I was like, hey, hold on. They were half a day away from the needle.
yeah, but we were about probably 3 weeks worth of searching, knowing our party.
Yeah.
This is still faster.
Yeah. It was very mysterious. It drew the attention of a lot of people. Something so magically charged simply appearing in the sky and falling to the ground. Yes, of course, I was slightly drawn to it, as was everyone else, of course. I could
All right.
most probably one of those who could divine a little bit of its usefulness just by looking at it. So of course, they took it in front of me before taking it to the wizard. They didn't want their precious wizard's tower to explode.
Smart. Although you probably divined in itself that it is not a weapon, nor is it meant to really discharge energy itself.
Well, that is the odd thing about it. It could do so many things. But I did figure out that it was meant to work in conjunction with others similar objects.
Did you figure out how many?
No, they did not leave it here long enough. But I did have the impression that with the way that it was made, it was oddly shaped, as if it was meant to be united as one.
All right. For the next piece of information, I'll give the number, which was 12. Am I correct with that? It was 12, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, well, I'll give you that as my Pete. It is meant to work with 12 others.
12. Interesting, interesting. Yes, yes, I can see the shape in my mind. Ah, that is meant for a large creature then. Interesting. Such an object could be used for... That information may be worth something more of you before I say it. What else can you tell me?
I'm still waiting for my piece of information. I gave something else up.
I'm just not convinced of how much value what I'll say have. It may be of greater value.
That
You
was
might
not the deal,
owe
though.
me if I say something more.
I thought you said you weren't one to judge value.
Oh, I'm simply said that I was not an expert. Very well. I will say it. But you will need to be honest. If it is worth a lot.
I'm nothing if but honest.
For some reason, I feel like there are loopholes that you are used to working with. But I will say it. As much as the object felt like it was meant to be used in conjunction with other, it also felt like it could be unified as one, becoming like stake wood for a vampire. A single weapon. Capable of making something very large vulnerable.
Interesting. Very interesting. Remy, are you writing this down? No. I'm kidding.
Remy is just still there. Ah.
Fisher, are you writing this down? I need some script. No, I'm kidding.
No,
that is very valuable information.
Judging from your reaction, it really does feel like what you just said lacked a little bit of value to complete what I just said. How about you even up what is owed?
Very well. As we mentioned before, it works with 12 other pieces, and from our knowledge, it was a prototype to help see if it could entrap something. Something perhaps even with a divine nature to it.
Yes, of course, of course. That is a very interesting dual nature. Separated in its component, it can trap something. But united as a single spike, it can trap the heart of something. Interesting, so interesting. I don't know if I want to help you take it anymore. I might actually want it for myself.
We can.
Perhaps we could both
We might
get
know
what
where
we
more
want.
are.
Please, only one of you speak at a time. I may have 2 ears, but I can't understand
Go ahead,
multiple
Jorg.
people talking.
We might know where more are.
Go
There were
on.
12 after all.
Yes, there were 12. Why is there only one?
Weren't the others... Am I wrong out of game? Weren't the others destroyed in the process, or am I wrong?
They were not
Does he
destroyed.
know that?
They are buried.
They were buried.
Or we don't
He's
know.
a powerful wizard.
but
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know. Okay.
I think we're pretty sure they were buried.
We're pretty sure they're buried.
They're
Okay.
most likely somewhere under the ground. The thing that you don't know is, were they activated when the avatar arrived? If they were activated, then they probably exhausted their energy because they couldn't contain him. He completely pulverized everything in there. If they didn't activate, then there's 11 more buried somewhere with a full charge.
Okay. I'll let Jorg say his thing.
Let Jorg say these things.
Well, Jorg... Well, I won't respond. I'll see how he responds to Jorg.
Yeah, I would just tell him that we might know where they are, and then see what he says to that.
Very interesting, very interesting. Yes, I had heard about this. I did not know that there had been problems in there. Interesting. Well, I wouldn't know the exact value, what it was is there, unless I do a little bit of research myself. That is slightly disturbing. So much potential power may just be sleeping underground somewhere, as all good treasure do. But there is potentially one close by, who I know is in working condition.
but in the hands of another wizard.
How did you manage to transport it? I'm not to say that you are incompetent, but you do not seem like the kind of people who would easily transport such an object.
I teleported it.
I dug
see.
it out.
And how did you teleport it?
What object can teleport things?
Many, if you know how to make them.
What object do I currently possess that can teleport things? I assume you know everything, every magical object we have on us.
Well, your magical auras are certainly powerful, but there are so many different colors in those auras right now, and you all have at least one which exceed everything else in power. He looks at you, audience. You have a very interesting armband. He looks at you, Jorg. I was about to say that staff, but I feel like there's something attached to the staff that is actually the center of the power. He looks at Remy. That lantern of yours. I feel like I've read about it somewhere. And he looks at you, Fisher, and says, very interesting third eye you have. And in an odd place as well. And you look oddly aware for someone such as your make. Something interesting on its own. But I shouldn't be surprised adventurers like you all. The only thing I do not know is, and he looks at you, Fisher, did they make you or someone else make you? You feel more ancient than the rest of the group.
That's an understatement.
Ah. So, as you can see, it is a bit difficult sorting everything out. But I do detect two objects, which would definitely help you teleport something out. I see a headwear, and I see a little ball. Both have the ability to teleport something out.
I know nothing about this little ball.
What?
Now that's a deception roll.
No, actually, I don't. Oh, wait. Do I?
What
he's
ball-shaped
talking about
object do all of us carry that has the ability to teleport?
Oh. Okay, audience was actually being honest there. He didn't.
Okay.
He was thinking about his items.
Like orb. That's not a ball. That's an orb.
Okay, okay.
That's truly.
It's like, oh, what else could it possibly be?
And it's very in character for audience. It was me just
No.
Mhm.
It is enough of in character with audience that I would allow you to roll persuasion when you said that.
24.
24. Huh, how very odd. Are you telling me that adventurers such as yourself carry around object which they know nothing about? How very dangerous.
Anyway, I used the helm. Moving past that awkward moment.
Yeah, with all of your friends suddenly looking at you, audience, going, what the?
You know.
Yes, so
The wizard says, I see why you're the leader.
Yes, yes, of course, of course. We always put that person in the front of a party. He looks at you for a brief moment. Yes, you used that. Now, that does tell me something about all of you. And
That we're a little bit reckless, or no?
well, that is one way of putting it. Now then. Suddenly, I am not so sure you have what it takes to take the object out of the wizard laboratory. What was your plan exactly?
Our plan right now is to simply
Why
do
would we tell
reconnaissance.
you?
No.
You haven't been super helpful, and you don't really seem to be wanting to be helpful either.
I'm just making sure that the risk you are asking me did not exceed the reward. What would
What
you
risk are you
What
specifically?
risk are you taking?
Yeah. But we'd be, I assume, the ones actually going in, unless you're planning to come with us.
It sounds like there was a decent amount of people involved in this procurement, and there is a very specific, well-known person in the city that it was delivered to. So, while we came to you, because it seemed like the easiest way to do it, I believe there are many more people who could give us the information we're currently seeking. Unless you have better information that you would want to give.
How cute. You're trying to appeal to my vanity as a wizard. I can see that you have at least a little bit of training as a wizard yourself. Otherwise, you wouldn't have that reflex. But you haven't calculated the actual risk of everything that I may tell you. Not a lot of people actually know what is out there. And so, if you simply waltz in there trying to get your little object, there aren't too many people who could have actually told you this information. I am taking a risk.
You're saying you have information on not just where it is, but the resources protecting it.
Unfortunately, the inner sanctum of the wizard I have no information about. It is always something that we take great care to protect, and only those who have tried and escaped will have information about this, which is not something you will find easily because not a lot of people have managed to escape the wizard of the castle.
Well,
But
we now know
Not
it's the
zero.
Now we know it's the wizard of the castle. So that's something.
Well, of course it is the wizard of the castle. Who else might it be?
Could have been you.
And now why would I lie to you when you have been so
no, I don't say
forthcoming?
I didn't say it would be you now. I'm saying it could have been you before we knew that it was the person of the castle. I'm just saying there are other powerful wizards that could have wanted it. You just proved that yourself.
Well, of course, an object like this. You did not think that more than one wizard would have been attracted to it?
I assumed many wizards would have been attracted to it. That's why that's why you're trying to get the information of who took it.
Yes, 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 of course. But my opinion is a little bit more sought after. After all of the time that I've taken to travel and my little exotic show, and he spreads his arm sort of in a way that's saying, I'm exotic.
But have you ever dealt with the man of the crossroads? With all your magical mystery?
Are you talking about the merchant?
Am I?
No, I do not know if you're trying to extract some information from me or we are talking about the same thing. How can I be sure we're talking about the same thing?
I don't know, audience says as he plays with the coin necklace between his fingers.
And what would you do with a coin if you were at an intersection, a crossroad?
I don't know.
We're talking about the same guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't be sure if we're talking about the same thing.
Fisher like walks out the door. He's like, "I'm sorry, I'm not being helpful. I'm gonna leave before I make this worse."
No, you're fine. He was, I think, being a little bit stronger. We're not in a weak position here. We don't have to give everything.
Like,
Short
meanwhile,
will
Raimi
fall.
has looked over object number 278.
Object
Memorize
is,
the
Remy is
curse.
slowly just categorizing this place if he needs to come back and rob it. No, I'm kidding.
It's like ranking them based off of their based off of 4 categories: value, magical ability, shininess, and gem count.
4 very important categories.
No, absolutely. And there's one that you've taken so much more time analyzing it. It looks like a huge snake with wings, but it seems to be made out of you want to say rubies, but it's really clear and there are definitely marks of orange in it. It feels like crystallized fire in the shape of a flying snake. And it does feel like it's emitting a little bit of light. And you know, it's 3 feet tall, so.
Oh, a 3-foot tall, magical gem infused snake. It's a good thing this isn't one of my other characters because he's deathly afraid of snakes.
Now then, if you are trying to just force information out of me, then I feel like this little bit of conversation may be pointless. Let's get back to the normal subject of what exactly you want me to help you with.
Well, we left off at you saying you might want this object for yourself.
Yes.
However,
of
since that
course.
is obviously impossible for us both to receive the same object, the question is, how much can you actually get us? As you said, you don't know the inner sanctum.
No,
So-
unfortunately, that is only something that, like I said, someone who has tried and failed but survived can help you
So
with.
my question for you is, why should we not, at this point, go and deal with the court wizard directly and see if we can barter with him for the item? What is it that you can give us that makes it still worth our time bartering with you?
Well, you've told me where there might be other parts of this. I just don't know how useful they might actually be. But if you let me have the object for a little while, analyze it properly, I may be able to simply figure a way to make more using the remnants of whatever you think is out there. That could be worth my while.
Fair enough. But what does worth your while mean for us? Are you willing to risk? Are you willing to venture in with us to capture this object from the wizard? Or are you willing to?
Of course
What is the
not.
extent of your help mean? Powerful object? Something? What are we gaining from this?
Of course I can't come with you. I am too known in this city. My magic would instantly be recognized. It wouldn't help you. I'm sure that the wizard has placed many protection around his sanctum to make sure that no wizard of the city may be able to get in. I'm sure there is at least one specific protection that is made especially for me. Actually, that might be interesting. I can't help you get in, but I may be able to help you get out.
Very well. And how would you help us?
If you can lower the defenses around the sanctum, defenses
Sorry, I
pointed
Unmuted.
directly at me, I may be able to help you. Of course, you'd have to lower more than the defenses only aiming at me. Make sure that it is not that easy to figure out who helped you. But if you can manage that, then I would be able to help you get out with your object, because you apparently have very limited means to extract something of this power. It would risk interfering too much with what you have, but I may have a solution. I may be able to get it out if you can pull the defense down.
Before I agree to anything, I'll have to answer this, and how you answer depends on whether we will continue this brief partnership we've started. Why is it worth our time to go through all this trouble, risking our lives invading this inner sanctum, when we could simply go ask the castle wizard if he'd be willing to barter with us and trade us the object for information of our own?
Well, of course, you could try this. But I doubt very much that someone already wanted in our city will have ease getting through the front gate. And then after that, there is the little problem of the dual reputation of that, and he points at your medallion, the one of your religion. I mean, that would be a chance you'd be taking. Maybe they've had good dealings. Maybe they didn't. 50-50.
Fair. Okay. And how can we know that we trust you to safely transport us out with the object? Would you be willing to make a magical pact around that once we lower the defenses, you wouldn't simply come take the object and abandon us for the guards to capture?
Nothing so binding. But I would be willing to let you tell me where to teleport the object once you're done. That way, you would be able to get there before me and make sure that we have to honor both our end of the bargain.
I don't know about that. That seems... I don't trust that we could get there before him.
Any trace of magic that I leave on you could easily point toward me, and if you're captured, then they will come for me. Quite honestly, I only see one of you who might have experience in doing such things.
Object number 354.
355.
This object is impressive. Like, oh, that's just a crumb left behind. Might have been snacking in here.
Very intriguing object. It's cylindrical. There's a sphere on top. Oh, no, that's a garbage can. Sorry.
Group huddle, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Fisher, come back in. Group huddle.
Group huddle. I don't really think this guy's giving us enough for us to like agree to work with him. Personally. But also, he is right that it might be difficult to barter with the court wizard.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Jorg, I think you're muted.
all he's really offering to teleport us out and the object to a random place that then potentially we could get to before him.
He's also not willing to teleport us out. Isn't that what he said?
He's offering to take you out, but not in. Yeah.
Okay.
Take us out, but not take us out where the object goes. He might teleport the object somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like this just puts us potentially back to square one for a lot of risk on our part.
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just above table, if we actually know where the object is, it's like, or rather, we have the ability to choose where it goes. That also means that we can just use the object that we have to teleport to that exact location.
We can, but he's also a wizard, so he could also... He literally just admitted to having a way to teleport the object, which we don't, which means he could easily also teleport to where we're teleporting it to us, and then teleport the object back to, like, his laboratory, and then we'd be stuck.
Actually, I imagine that just above table, it's probably a version of teleport, meaning that there is a chance of failure.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that it would actually be in his best interest to send it someplace along with us, because we have to escape with it too.
You see, I'm willing to do it if he'll teleport us out with the object to a place, but I don't want to do it for just us being separated from the object.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more fair terms.
Well, I think the
Especially-
reason we teleported it away on its own
was because we were
partly
just trying to
because-
disrupt the whole thingamabob, like the whole ritual.
Yeah. But like you can do an object or a bunch of people. For us to take it with us, we would have to have somewhere to put it that we could keep on our person, or like literally pick it up. Which, if I remember correctly, it's a couple hundred, several hundred pounds.
Most likely a few ton.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is still magically charged the same way it was before, you're taking the same risk. It might end up somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a wizard. He may have means to strengthen the spell, make it more difficult for the spell to fail and end up in a different place.
Is it weird for me to say that, like, the more I talk into this, I feel like we're just the wrong party to get this object. Like, we should literally just pay someone else to do it for us.
Maybe we should just.
We could just put it up as a quest at the garden.
Mhm.
Especially with me being, like, wanted in the city. And, like, I feel like there are people who could just do it far more easily than we could.
That's within the possibilities of what you can do. You can do this. Put up a put up a quest in the garden. You can try and recruit people inside of one city somewhere. You can, it's all possibilities. In that case, everything you did is not wasted. You have information that you can give to whomever is going to do the quest for you. You can tell them to come visit this wizard. They may have more that they can bargain with. It's entirely up to you. We should be going on a break. Do you want to have this 15 minutes to think about it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then. We will be going on a break. We will be back in 15 minutes. And hopefully we'll have an answer on whether we keep going on this quest or it becomes someone else's problem.
I also feel like we also got important information of that it can be used as a weapon.
Yeah.
So definitely not a failure.
All right. See you back in
So
15 minutes. Bye.
Was he saying?
Hello, we're back. Sorry, the music was a little low. I forgot to increase the volume before we get on a break. All right. And so we are back with all of you talking and Remy making charades to explain the really complex things that he tried to explain above table. But now he actually had to try and explain it as Remy. Interesting. You're muted.
I keep doing that habitually because sometimes I get noises. There's one part where Raimi is doing the Mission Impossible theme while pointing at himself. It's then there's a whole part. It's maybe a small exchange that sounds like a bribe. It's just many different things all fused together, and definitely would have been a little awkward if they just spent the next 11 minutes while Raimi did a telepathic bond.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll go back to the shopkeeper once Remy's done pantomiming, and we'll be like, so we have decided that we are going to undertake the mission to enter the castle, and we'll look forward to your help getting out. We'll try and lower, a few magical barriers to not make it obvious that it's you helping us, and then in good faith of you letting us actually recover the teleporter, we are happy to purchase a magical object from your store in kind of a good faith of our partnership.
Interesting. Good. It is always nice to have new friends.
All right.
It's really weird. The word "friends," it seems to have a dollar sign on the S.
All right, Remy, you've probably at this point looked through almost every object in here. What do we want? No, I'm kidding.
I don't know. Is there anything that would be interesting to Raimi or other members of the party?
Things that could be interesting for all of you. Well, there's a bunch of objects that you don't know what they're for. Some of them do look like collection piece. Um, there are some strange animals. There are several different weapons. You don't know if they're better than what you already have. Um, there are a few objects which could potentially be interesting for the near future. You do find a little ribbon that you've encountered before.
Oh, that fun ribbon. Well, I say fun, but I gave it to a princess so she wouldn't die.
Yeah. So it's a very similar looking ribbon. So similar, in fact, that you can't help for a brief moment wondering, because with everything that happened, it could be possible that it's the very same ribbon that you gave her, and because she didn't use it, it became family heirloom, and someone eventually lost it, and it found its way there. It would be weird, but it would be possible. So
Robbie just casually
odd.
goes, "This is mine. Can I have it back? I lent it to someone 10,000 years ago." No.
But magical object can keep their lustful appearance for at least several hundred years, at least 1,000 years. So could be something different. But there's definitely one there that feels very interesting. You have a feeling that it's very pricey, because objects like this aren't. They're pretty powerful. They'll dragon level powerful.
It's like, meanwhile, there's some nobles that will just like, you know what? I want to hold on to this in case I get a stomach ache.
Yeah. You find also that could be interesting for now. It's on the outside. You'd probably just, well, audience probably calls it like this. It looks like a friendship bracelet, the kind of bracelet that child would exchange one another. But you, Remy, being able to at least appraise it a little bit better than audience would, think you know what it does. It is a pretty powerful illusion. Would definitely help audience get in, because piercing through that illusion would be extremely difficult, and only true sight would be able to reveal what is under it. The thing is that it needs to be paired with someone else. So audience would be taking the appearance of someone else that would have the other bracelet. But short of a true sight spell, no one would be able to see who is under it. And
There's no greater friendship than identity theft.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that could be interesting. Of course, you recognize on the floor, and for a brief moment, you sort of have a moment of, I mean, it's on the floor. Do you think it's for sale? But it is probably the largest flying rug that you've ever seen in your life. But hey, it may be able to carry all of you together on it. You'd look like a flying tapestry, but it would be able to carry all of you on it.
I actually feel like we have enough travel spells, right?
Doesn't that mean it goes really slow too? Don't the really big ones go really slow?
The ones that can hold the greatest capacity go a bit more slowly. Not super slow, but still
Okay.
slower than like a single or occupant carpet, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest one, 6 feet by 9 feet, still has a flying speed of 30.
Oh, okay.
And it can hold 800 pounds. So if you put everything you have inside of the audience dimensional space and only keep your armor on yourselves, you may actually be able to all fit in there. What else could be interesting? Oh. Interesting little gem. It's useful, probably because you've seen it before, but you've never been able to buy it for yourself. But you can definitely recognize the usefulness of it. It's a little black gem that has a little bead of power pulsing inside of it. The
Is that
gem,
is that the same thing as the one from Otanel? Or are we thinking of a different gem?
no, you're taking of a different gem because this gem I haven't uh, presented to you, any of you.
Okay, I thought you meant that literally. It's like you've seen this before, but you weren't able to purchase
Oh,
it.
no, no, no. By that I mean it's probably something that you've seen at the very beginning of your quest as a rogue while you were going through different stores, wondering, is there a way that I can, take a shortcut, become a little bit more powerful by stealing something? Then not long after you realize that there is no shortcut for power. But you wish there were, but there aren't. So that little gem
Yeah, there is.
is
Just involves yourself and a devil or a demon or
yeah. But even then, it doesn't give you experience. I mean, it doesn't give you.
No, you're right. It doesn't give you experience. That is exactly what that phrase means.
Yep.
So the little gem is black. There's a little bead of power that is pulsating inside of it. It has this little very light blue shade. And you know that you can use it to create a temporary tunnel through a different fold of reality, which essentially allows you to get through a corridor, for example, and skip any trap inside of it, because it'll put the exit at one point, the entrance in one point, and the exit at another point that you can see. And it'll allow you to just walk through it without triggering any traps that would be there, unless the trap can be triggered by traveling through the astral plane.
So you could also pass through like a magical barrier.
So long as you can see on the other side.
The other side.
And that the magical barrier does not cross across planes.
That
Would it
seems
let
pretty
you get through like a wall of force?
I'd have to read it to be sure, but I think it would work on that kind of wall.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way to skip a trap corridor, escape some types of magical traps.
That seems pretty interesting.
The gem takes a while to recharge, so it's something that you use in an emergency, and you can't use it again until dawn.
I
has-
assumed, but I assume it wasn't like unlimited charge. But
Does it
Uh,
only let one person through?
or does it let?
It'll
or does it
remain.
create a
It
corridor?
will remain there for a little bit of time. So
Okay.
you can actually take a small group of people through.
It seems pretty interesting.
And unless someone can actually see through the ethereal plane, you can even use it as a place to hide if someone arrives. Because only the user has the ability to open the hole. So if Remy doesn't like Jorg, he could decide that no, the hole doesn't open for him, and he's stuck out there.
Damn.
So can be useful to skip traps, to get out of traps, and to hide in an emergency.
That does seem like something our party doesn't have, right? It's a good way for us to interdimensionally travel. But I'm leaving it up to rest of like what people want.
If there's something that you'd like specifically that you have in mind, because now I'm just throwing things out there that I think could be useful, but hey, if your imagination can come up with something that would be very useful, whether it already exists or it is something close to something that already exists that I can make myself without having to spend 2 weeks figuring out how to make it, you just tell me.
One thing I could think of that could definitely be useful would be like a gem of scene. Also, speaking of other gems, but that's the only thing that pops into my head.
Oh, that one lets you do like true sight.
It gains you
You
true
look
sight
through it?
out to 120 feet when you pierce through the gem for the next 10 minutes, and it has 3 charges.
Brightness, seeing. Wondrous item, rare. And actually you can speak the gem command word and expand 1 charge. For the next 10 minutes you have through sight out to 120 feet. The gem regains 1d3 expanded charge daily at dawn.
That'd be another useful one.
Would definitely be possible to find it in this store, although it would be in the front of the store, not the back. It's just rare,
Fair.
you know?
It's only rare.
It's only rare. Well, I'll definitely pick one of those up if we go, but we can get one of the other things back here.
Yeah.
Although I'm actually running out of attunement slots.
You have to attune to the gem of seeing.
I think so.
How many?
Yes.
Oof.
Is it 3 charges per long rest, or do they come?
It's 3, and you roll it.
A D3.
You
A D3.
regain 1 guaranteed. You can regain up to the 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Now, to be fair, I won't normally be attuned to my Hat of Disguise, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the thing with attunement object, you're supposed to be able to change.
yeah.
You can attune to only what you need when you're going to a situation.
Yeah. I personally like the ring that creates a plane, but it's up to you guys.
Which ring?
Oh, not
it's a
ring. Sorry,
gem.
gem. Sorry, gem. That
The gem.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, magic carpets are very useful,
they are.
especially
thinking-
for shorter distance.
Shorter distance.
Because, like,
No.
yes, we have lots of long distance,
Mm-hmm.
transportation options.
But
But also, I have fly. Terry has fly.
like,
If we need to fly a short distance,
I'm also not trying to metagame, but I'm also gonna say I think a lot of us are gonna have flight with our objects in the near future, or just with things as well. I think most of us soon are gonna have the ability to fly. Because Remy's working on the cloak that I think lets him fly.
Remy already has a cloak that's let him.
Yeah,
fly.
that lets him fly.
Jorg.
I think
can
my
actually
objects.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
one of my objects either next level, then that level after that is gonna let me fly.
So the only one who
Yeah.
possibly won't be able to naturally fly is Fisher, who's going to have to use a spell.
Yeah, but my point is, if we have a way, I think most of us are gonna have a way.
yeah, fair. Yeah, I think the gem is a good call.
I think it's the gem or the bracelet, because the bracelet could also have future uses for us as well. But we'd also have to get the bracelet. The thing with the bracelet is it's also more useful if we can convince someone else besides someone in our party to wear it, and then that's like kind of a pain. But
The bracelet's the disguise one.
yeah,
I mean, the bracelet might make yeah.
my I think the two best ones were the gem or the. But
I mean, we could just grab someone at the garden. Like,
There are a few half elves and a few elves inside of the garden, and you know that they're not allowed to leave the garden, so no one would have ever seen them before.
yeah, the question is how useful would that be for us to beat them.
does it
Like-
only works for one person?
The
I'm
person
assuming?
who wears it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We can also
so-
obviously do the strat of us go knock someone out, put the bracelet on them, and then use them to continue to.
and then they wake
Toby,
up
actually.
and
Toby
Well, no,
Ash's
we
strategy.
keep someone with them. It would be like a more of a scouting thing we could do, where we like for like the future, where we could like knock someone out, put the bracelet. But again, those are like
Toby Ash's strategies. Yes.
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what put them in the body bag.
Stick
Yeah.
a knife inside of them so they're dead but not dead, so you can
Yeah.
shove them in the body
I'll
bag.
say the gem is the simplest good option. Like it's going to be good when we use it with less conditions than
Yeah.
the bracelet.
How far does it go?
It's not the range. Is not incredibly large. 60 feet. From one exit to the entrance to the exit. It's enough for everyone to hide inside. Yeah, it can be less than that. The minimum being 10 feet, the maximum being 60 feet. So you can literally
like
just create this as a pocket to hide
literal
inside,
tunnel?
or you have to see
So
the other
it
side.
makes like a literal tunnel, not
Yep.
like a portal. Okay.
It creates a tunnel inside of an alternate fold of space, meaning that it is there where you place it. So if you place it on top of an already existing tunnel, someone that would be able to see through them would see two tunnels at the same place, overlapping.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we should do that one.
Okay.
That would be.
So I guess out of curiosity, just like assuming that we're like looking at these and he's like giving prices, how much do all these things cost?
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds expensive. if you're saying that's just rare for the Gem of Seeing, that means everything back here
It's very
is
rare.
very rare, which means
Yes.
pricey.
Anything on this side of the store is from very rare to legendary. Don't worry, that little gem is not legendary, but it is very rare. It's not something that.
What is now? You know what? Actually, let's
So-
not go there. I'm not gonna.
Very
What is
easy to
legendary?
assume
A
that
Holy
there is-
Avenger.
legendary
No,
object
no,
costs
no.
a
I was gonna
minimum
say-
of 50,000 gold.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say no. You know what? No, don't tempt me. I was about to say like what objects back here. Nope. You know what? I don't need to know.
Well, there is that thing over there.
Nope.
That luck blade just kind of gathering dust in the corner.
What's that? What's that? Is that a Holy Avenger?
Audience could skip so many steps.
I'd be more tempted in saying, there's that weird drum at the other side of the store.
Is that a deck of cards? Line up. No, okay.
The best way to kill
like
the
a-
Pull all these out and start shuffling through them.
Please, God, no.
Wait, why did
Do
only
not-
5 come out at a time? Wait, what's happening?
Wow, that's a really nice looking pair of wizard robes. And a matching staff.
Let me just try it against my knee. It seems kind of flimsy. I feel like I could break it.
Now, try and imagine what would a cursed legendary object be.
Yeah.
Those are fun as well. It's a little ball.
I don't know
over
why this
there.
luck plate is half off.
Yeah.
It's a little ball over there. You don't know why? There are some depiction of waves on it. It's called the Orb of Calamity. It's probably nothing.
What random vendor did we run into?
Yeah.
So the object, being a very rare object, would cost you 25,000 gold.
I could put 5,000 towards that. Actually, how many party members do we have right now?
What?
5. Wait.
Audience has
I'm
lost track of who
relatively
follows
broke.
him.
1, 2, 3.
I have 1,100 gold.
Oh, you have
total over.
1,100.
Yeah, I don't have.
Oh,
as
you're
much
not
money
right
as
because
you
you
guys.
don't have all that. Because Toby had a lot, but he's not here anymore.
I've got a lot.
I also have a lot, but
Jorg is above material things, so
Fair enough.
yeah.
I mean,
He's not
I have like
jealous.
Well, George, you said you have 11,000? Well, Remy just made more than that.
No, 1,100.
Okay.
Yeah,
oh,
like 1,000.
Gold or platinum?
I have 6 gold or 6 platinum, 1,132 gold.
Raimi
Wow.
has enough
Have I-
gold to buy it wholesale.
'Cause I don't know.
I also do.
I also do.
I don't think we've.
Yeah,
gotten
that's why I'm
much
like, what did
gold.
George spend his money on?
I don't think
I
we
haven't
split.
spent my money. I think
Or do we just...
I just haven't
didn't-
been like. I was in the shard for when you guys got a lot
Right,
of-
that's what happened.
Oh,
Because our main
You got a
influx
big
of money,
payday.
when our big payday happened, which is really most of our,
yeah.
Jorg wasn't here,
Yeah,
and we haven't really got much money since then
fair enough.
as the quest reward.
Alright, is 25,000, so...
I can put 8,000 towards it. Jorg's not going to be.
Yeah.
8.
I feel like I want to see that little scene there going, well, I can put 8,000, I can put 10,000, and then you have George says, I can put 10 golds.
Jorg, it's okay. You're like our broke friend who we just like get things for.
Well, he does look like a beggar.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and just get that part figured out. Everyone just add 2,875 to your stock.
Oh, are you splitting up the gold?
From the
Well, yeah, we all earned it together.
From that.
From all the stuff
magic
we
items
sold before we left the garden, or Rami sold.
Okay,
You said 2,000.
2,875.
2,807. Okay, so that puts me at 51. Oh wait, okay, 51,400.
All right.
And 74.
Audience, do 8. I'll do 9. Rami, do 8. That's
Okay.
25.
Okay. Yep. So 8. So that brings me down to 43.
I'm just sitting there like, whoa, what did I miss?
Well,
You just see us go into our stash. There's a separate treasure room. It's just like literally so much gold.
Yeah.
well, what it probably looks
Platinum.
like, Jorg, is that you
Platinum.
see audience, all right, we're going to pay. And then he opens his dimensional space. They all go inside and they all come out with huge bags of gold.
No, it's like the Harry Potter, like in the movie, the first one where he opens his vault at Gringotts. It's just a pile of loose coin. Just
in the
Organize
center.
this place.
Yeah.
Just in the center of the room. It looks surprisingly like a dragon horde, actually. Just a very small one. In the center.
Why is that large kind of hollow carved out at the top that it looks like someone could like lie on?
Audience is like,
Where do
listen,
you sleep?
Don't worry about it.
don't worry about it, guys. Why is there a diving board above it?
Just don't take from the bottom; it'll destabilize it.
Audience, as you're taking that gold inside of there, you feel a little thing inside of you say, but that's my gold.
Okay, but we need the gem. We're getting the gem with it.
Well, if you want, you can talk to him in your next stream. I'm just saying that this is something that you feel inside. It feels alien from you, that little voicing, but it's my goal.
It's not all yours. Just some of it.
Alright, you pay, and you get a new gem. I will create it in D&D Beyond. So it will officially exist.
Also, how much is the gem of scene over there? You said it was
Yeah, in the more common part of the store. Rare, 1,000 gold.
1,000.
Yeah, and it's yours.
I can
afford to charge.
I honestly feel like multiple of us should get a few. I don't know, how many does he have? Does he have one or does he have multiple?
Let's see.
So I'd honestly get a few of those. So we don't always have to rely on Andre's son for true sight.
Yes, my son. Out of character.
It's like it like hops up on Andre's lap, just like okay, guy. Look at the screen there. Do you see anything?
Yeah, we
Here,
bring
let me
it
go
on.
get him out of his tank. What the fuck is that?
So yeah, no. You see Jim there, and you ask if he has more. He tells you that he has a second one. He can sell it to you right now if you want.
Yeah, we can get two. Does someone else want to buy the other one, or do you want me to get both? Someone specifically want a Gem of Scene?
I think it depends on how many rotating attunements maybe people have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not too bad right now.
I could do.
Jorg, how many attunement slots are you using right now?
3. I still have my Ring of Warmth attuned though, so I could.
No, no, you don't have 3.
Hey, look, I like to be comfy, okay?
Fair enough, dude.
It's just so funny.
Yeah,
Alright.
I've got 3, and I've also got the Banishing Whip, a Ring of
Yeah.
Protection, and a Pearl of Power that I'm not.
Alright, so I'm buying one of these for Jorg. Okay, Gem. Scene. Let's stick
Jorg
a
also
mouse.
has good perception, so that's good.
Yeah,
Mm.
because I'm actually not going to use it. Because I'm going to use the X-ray goggle. So I'm buying mine for Jorg.
You
So
know,
do we want the other
Terry
one?
still has one free attunement slot.
I don't think Terry needs it.
No, it's the only thing he doesn't need.
Okay, cool. So I bought Jorg. Add it. It's in D&D. Or it's in D&D Beyond. Add a Gem of Scene to your inventory.
Yeah. Gem.
I think we should get another one. Even if we don't have 2 people, like
That way
it's
you
got
have 6
what it only
charge.
lasts 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like
Just
yeah,
gives
you
us
use
more
up-
charges. Just gives us more charges. Yeah.
It's not like we can't afford another 1,000.
No. All right. Do you want to buy that one?
Sure.
Okay. We will buy both the Gems of Scene as well.
All right.
But then the question is, do we want to try and see how far we can get into the castle today, or do we want to just go back for the day and teleport back to like this district tomorrow?
I mean, honestly, while we're in a store with somebody who doesn't seem to have a particularly firm moral compass, it's like and already knows exactly what we're going to be doing because he's going to help us with it. Ramey's going to be see what items he has as far as other kinds of like sneaking in materials.
Fair enough.
What else can you see?
Does he have a weird pair of goggles that holds the gem over your eye?
You'd rather have a goggles of seeing instead of a gem of seeing? I don't mind making that transformation. It's the same object. It's just a different appearance. So, yeah, we can say that one of the gem was
Just puts
actually
it in.
goggles of seeing. I don't mind.
True sight is also helpful in combat.
Fisher, could you get the people that work on you to just replace one of your eyes with one of the gems?
That would be badass.
Yes, one of my
Just
eyes
two
only
gems of-
works for 10 minutes 3 times a day.
Yeah, but you could use it for true sight, and the rest of the time you can wear a cool eye patch, and then be like, I only have one eye, then pull it to the side and have
And
it
then
like glow. Like,
dramatically lift it up,
Yeah.
and then it's glowing, and
Mhm.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I can't be the only one who should be thinking of Code Geass. Just like
no, I was thinking.
I'm
of
already bad enough hitting stuff with spells. I don't need to be. I don't need my depth perception to be even worse.
but it would raise your aura factor so high.
Mm-hmm.
So things
Listen,
that
you already have the cool hat. You just need an eye patch
Mhm.
with, and you're already like 3/4 of the way to being a pirate, which is the opposite of what you wanted to be and ran from your entire life.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because my hat is definitely a pirate hat.
No, it's like a
well, it's an extravagant.
It's a Victorian era ladies hat.
yeah.
Shh, nobody needs to know that. Well, in the more classical object, classical object, you do recognize potion of invisibility, Remy.
So,
You speaking of objects, I don't know if right now I feel very inclined to add it because of everything that was said. You know, there is a really nice cloak at the other end of the store, in the back store. It's gonna cost you an arm and a leg, but it is a cloak of invisibility.
Oh goddamn, that is gonna cost you an arm and a leg. Harry Potter, is that you?
I mean, yeah, that's a legendary item, I think.
Yes.
It is a legendary item, yeah.
Because it's just you just flip the cope up, the hood up, and you're invisible.
Yep.
You don't have to.
No
For 2
concentration.
hours. Yeah, for 2 hours. Attacking doesn't break it.
There's a reason it's legendary. It's very good.
It cost a lot. In the less impressive category, you do see boots and cloak of elvenkind.
Those are nice.
Well, the question is, do they have the boots in Raimi's foot anatomy?
Aren't they magic boots? So you put them on and then they morph.
Usually, magical object can be made to adapt to the characteristic, because if you're what's the name of the creature again? Furbolg? Pretty sure that your feet don't resemble the same feet of others. It's easy to arrange. Let's call them, instead of boot of elvenkind, ankle wrapping of elvenkind.
Although, actually, if it is back there, how much would that cloak of invisibility be just for future goals? If it is actually there, or if we are just joking.
No, I've because of everything that was said, I am feeling inclined to put it there.
How much?
He would be willing to part with it for 125,000 gold.
Like a mental note for later. Um,
Well, Fisher.
We could just kill him and take it.
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah, I
that
was
would
wondering-
end up really good.
Could we?
Sorry, that was out of game. That was not the lawful good paladin saying.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you would actually have a chance because I haven't had time to prepare his stat block. Are you confident you can finish the fight in 20 minutes?
No, it's okay. I also don't think we're the type of party to go and just murder someone because we want their nice cloak.
It would be a bit out of character.
usually.
It's a really nice cloak, though.
Audience villain turn, just shh, quiet. We need your stuff. Shh.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
Go to sleep.
How likely is it that that Raimi could steal the stuff?
Very low.
Well,
Probably more likely that we could
Yeah.
kill him than that Remy could
Okay,
steal.
that's
the
kind of what I
stuff.
thought because of all the magic shit going on.
Yeah.
So I'd say Remy's ability to take the object and put it on himself, pretty good. Remy's ability to leave the store with the object, that's where I have serious doubts.
Yeah.
Like, there are just many defenses that a magical store would have to protect their higher end objects.
Possibly highest.
Not
stat.
even, like, not even entertain. Like, I actually would not be surprised if there was even magical walls on different planes of existence overlapping ours to make sure that people couldn't leave.
He does have
So-
protection against his own magical object, meaning that the gem that you just bought to create a tunnel, yeah, he probably knows how to make sure that you can't escape if you use the gem that you just bought. And also, how comfortable do you feel you'd be in the astral plane?
It's like I think Remy would at least buy the modified shoes, but he'd also be curious
Okay.
to see about actually I will maybe go with a classic. Are there any gloves of thievery in there?
Let's see. There's a good chance. Hold on, I'm gonna roll. So white dice is tens. Okay. It takes a moment when you suggest it, and he does go through a wide variety of object, but eventually he says, I knew I had something like this here. Here you go. Takes them out. The tips are cut, so it works well with your...
Oh, good. It's like can you imagine just it? I'm not sure if any of you have ever long nails and try to put on a glove or something like that, but it's just not very comfortable, let alone with talons. But yeah, Raimi will at the very least buy the modified shoes and the gloves. Plus, neither of them are attunement.
All right. So the glove, 200 gold, and the shoes. Boots. 150 gold for the boots.
So 350 for the lot.
Yeah. That is a very nice shop. Several level.
Mhm.
There's stairs going in spiral, going to a second level. A variety of objects. In the back of the store, there are some very interesting objects, and some you feel like they may not actually have a lot of magic in them, but it's a mix of art and magic, which can be very interesting, and usually their price is quite easily go up when you mix art and magic, making magical arts. Audience, you feel something inside of your stomach that just says, I want. I feel like that would be interesting. I'd very much, if you can, audience, if you can send me um, in private, just how many gold. What exactly have you put aside for your dragon? What is his fortune? Audience, did you understand?
Not his fortune.
Yeah, I'm just curious about. You can send this to me privately if you want. What is your the dragon's fortune? What did you put aside for him? Objects, things like this. How much gold? How much gem? Weapons? Anything that you've placed aside for him?
Yeah, I'll send that to you. I mean, I can just tell you, it's about 20% right now of my current wealth.
So about 10,000 gold.
But it's also kind of like a savings. Like, if there's an emergency that I have to pull gold for, I will, but I don't want. Like, it's this weird transaction where if my gold's not being used, it's kind of his. But if there's something important, I'm going to pull it and take it. And that's kind of the understanding I have with it. I mean, I'm going to not ever try and take all of it. But he has to understand that, like, if it's, like, necessary, I'm going to use it. If I need to, like, let's say, get the gem that I think is going to, like, help save the world, I'll do it. But I also want to leave him, like, money.
So essentially, what you're saying that he has a guaranteed 10,000 gold and 40,000 gold that is kind of his, but you can use if you really need it.
Yeah.
What does he?
That's why I
do
try
with the
not make
gold?
too many purchases unless
Okay.
they're.
No, because
Do
I've
we
been.
know what?
What did you say, Jorg?
What is he doing with the gold?
Right
Or is
now,
that
nothing.
audience's
But I've been thinking about it lately and thinking, dragon like their horde. So I don't know. Maybe it would be worth thinking about something for me. You know.
It's kind of a shared horde right now. It's like audiences and his horde. But
Yeah.
it's a partnership horde.
If you
Interesting.
decide to devote something to him, I may be inclined to start thinking about maybe a bonus? Just an incentive to actually do what he asked you to do. Which is.
I mean, I did. I tried to get him art. There were no magical objects in that, or magical paintings in that place.
Well, now you're in a place where I just said there were magical objects.
There were. I don't know if he has any magical paintings, though.
Is this the dragon inside you, or
Yes.
for?
Yeah, the dragon
Okay.
inside me.
That's pretty cool.
Paintings. Apparently only a 40% chance that there are some paintings. 33. Apparently there are magical paintings. Aw, isn't it adorable? It's a small painting. It's a small painting that you see in one corner. Maybe the length of from the tip of your fingers to your elbow, roughly square. But it's a beautiful depiction of a little floating island surrounded by clouds with a large tree sort of growing like a bit of a bonsai on a rocky floor. But you see the clouds around it, and while you don't see the sun, you do see the light. But what makes it magical is that it's moving.
Okay.
And it's
I would ask then.
It's like a tree.
I would ask, I'd be like, side note, how much for this painting?
I did not take you for a art critic.
I have a friend who I think might appreciate this.
Oh,
He's been asking for a painting for a long time.
I am both impressed and disappointed. Let's see. It's a pretty nice painting. The artist has been dead for a while, so there's not going to be any more. I'd be willing to part with it for 600 gold.
Yeah, I'll purchase it for 600.
Very well. You have a unique painting, Mr. Audience.
Thank you. And then I'll go in my head, I'll be like, this is for you. Thank you for all that you do.
You feel a surge of ecstatic emotion. For a brief moment, you even surprise yourself just going... And you feel the concept of, this is mine, right? Mine. You can't sell it. It's mine.
No, this one's yours. This is my gift to you.
All right. You have one piece of magical art. I'm gonna have to think about these. You know, maybe he'll make more demands, and if you accept, he may give you things. Who knows?
Who knows?
It is a dragon. He likes having hordes.
Also turn to fish, I'll be like, and that's how you keep the voices in your head completely out of context.
Fisher, inside of your head, you hear, I'm not that easy to buy.
I was gonna say, what would make the voice in my head happier is if you made smarter decisions. That's the only thing you complain. And if I made smarter decisions, that's the only thing he complains about.
Well, I'll say, I feel
He
understood.
He complains a lot about everything
Your
We're still
microphone
alive,
keeps
aren't we?
cutting.
Oh.
Every time you lower your voice just slightly, the sound cuts.
I'll look at eyes. I'll say he complains a lot for things that work out for us. I mean, we're alive, aren't we?
Yeah.
Actually, Jor, can you see in the dark?
I don't have dark vision normally.
I just didn't know if you already had a means.
So, night goggles.
I can change into things I can see in the dark.
Dude, it always
Audience
convenient
has-
to turn into an animal that can see in the dark.
Audience has
Mhm.
blind sense, but he can't.
True.
He technically has 0 dark vision.
I have.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, just in case, how many goggles does this guy own?
I was gonna say, I don't know why you guys haven't yet. I have goggles of night. I picked them up. It
I
might have
think
been.
the only reason why we haven't is because we haven't really actually been in a situation where we need to sneak around and steal something.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Also, yeah. So I've also just kind of relied on most of the situations because they've been usually combat situations. I mostly blind sense of like 10 feet. More than.
So, when you point toward Fisher's goggle, and you mimic someone you've heard somewhere saying, "They have more?" Probably a child asking for food, but it's the same concept. He looks at you, gives you a wide smile. He goes around.
Yeah, this has a whole collection.
He gets a box. And, as he arrives, you're sort of expecting him to put the box on the table and then turn it and you see it around. But out of nowhere, he just takes the box and gives a strong push toward the ground. And you see the box unfold. And you see 12 pairs of night goggles,
Jesus.
all with different styles. Some of them are very flashy, with yellow and reds, and some of them are very, very I was trying to say discreet. With no gems at all. It's just like a small armature that has just a little slider on the side that apparently you can just click to activate them. Interesting. Some of them have a very steampunk feeling to it, all metal and with little lenses that just stick out just a little bit.
Do they have any that are all animal or plant products and no metal?
Like a leather strap.
Mm-hmm. I'm sort of an anti-vegan where I only eat things made out of animals.
No, you're all biological food. That's what you are. You only eat biological food. You're those bio nuts that keep asking me.
You only, yeah. only go to
During
Trader
your food
Joe's.
sampling, they always ask me, "Was this done by biologically with respect to biologically made?" How do I know?
I'm like, what does that mean?
No, it's ground beef. I made quesadillas in food sampling last week. Yeah. Why would I know if the ground meat was biologically made?
It's meat. So, yes, and then no.
Oh,
I mean,
uh,
put into a
well, I think the question.
machine. 'Cause that's how you grind it.
Well, I think the question they were actually probably trying to ask was if it was organic or not.
Yes, sorry, organic.
Oh.
That's just me. The translation.
Okay,
Mm.
that makes more sense.
Because in French, if you ask for something that is bio, you're asking for someone that is organic.
Okay.
Sorry. So yeah, there's a
Oh no,
wide,
it's just like I assume that was the case.
yeah, there's a wide variety of them. Yes, of course, there is one that feels like a bit of an aviator goggle type, all made of leather except for the two lenses, which for some reason are bright red. You're not sure why, but the rest is leather straps.
Look, you already had me at aviator goggles.
So if Jorg doesn't buy them, Remy does.
I mean, fuck. There's no reason if there's 12 on sale.
It's not
There's
12
kind of
the
no
same.
reason.
It's all sort of style. But
I mean,
sure.
but yeah,
Let's say that there's one that is aviator goggle that is a bit of a varnished brown color, and the other one is ebony black.
I'll take the varnished brown ones.
All right. So these are uncommon, I believe.
Yep.
Uncommon, but fairly common. So 150 each.
Easy. That's something I can afford.
Do you want to pick up one, audience, while you're here?
Yeah, I'll grab one.
There's one made out of metal, but it does feel like it's all little scales. It's sort of made to resemble a lizard. And hey, that can look like a dragon scale. Nice.
Sure, I'll get that one.
It's like everybody comes out of the
Goggles
store
and
dressed like secret agents.
Secret agent, man.
The only one that feels like he doesn't have a custom-made pair is Fisher, who's just looking at his own pairs. Ah, damn it. Why did I have to ask for the generic appearance?
I just
Like,
got
very
what
practical.
was on the shelf. Yeah.
I'm sure if you were nice, like, if you asked nicely, the gnomes could take your goggles and cover them in chrome. Except for the lens part.
I don't know if we want that.
Yeah. Yeah, sneaking around at night. I can see everything just super shiny.
Seeing Remy buying all sorts of stealthy things and things like this. The after all of your purchase and you're looking around and you're starting to feel like okay, I think we got everything we need for this expedition. It's nice, unless there's something you actually want to add to all of your shopping.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Just go.
So you're
See
all
if staff of power.
I mean, I'm sure he. No, actually, no.
I just
that's a
realized
very
it's
rare item.
very rare and not legendary.
So what does the Staff of Power do exactly? It's been a while. Staff of Power.
It gives
plus
an AC
2
bonus
staff.
and offers some spells.
AC bonus, saving throws, and a bunch of spells. And you can break it to send possibly you and everything near you a bunch of force damage.
It has a
Yeah.
built-in epic death feature.
Yeah.
So are you saying
Zach, I'm
Fisher, that
taking
you
you
want
with me.
to exchange your sword for a staff?
I mean, if it was that staff,
Maybe.
maybe.
Oh man, the audience would
mean-
be so disappointed in you.
If I could make that staff a sword, hell yeah.
I mean, it
Well-
works as a quarterstaff for now.
The
You can
garden
beat people
could
with it.
Figure that out.
Yeah. It's friggin' smack people with it.
That could actually be something you could probably ask the gnomes.
Oh my gosh, a
Can I have
sword
a
of power.
Sword of power.
Guys, we need to go back to the garden right now.
You just look at this. Can the activation word be "I have the power"?
It only works if you're outside because lightning has to come down from the sky and strike it, and then like energize you up.
Actually, you know what? Missed opportunity. Gem of Seeing. We very easily could have done Sword of Omen situation.
Mm.
It's like a sword. Give me sight beyond sight. Give me true sight.
So, do
see,
you
it just-
actually want to know if there's a staff of power, or you want to go back to the garden and ask for a sword of power?
We'll go back to the garden and ask for a sword power.
Okay.
I am working on my Holy Avenger. You might as well
Yeah,
sort of power for
might as well.
All right, then write it down so you can ask Gnome the next time. All right, so you're all looking at this. You're pretty proud of yourself. Everyone has goggles. That's so cool. Remy, you have your new gloves and your new boots. Audience has a new frame. He goes and put it into the dimensional storage. The only one who feels frustrated is Fisher because he doesn't have anything. But seeing that Fisher probably feels just a little bit frustrated that there's nothing for him, and then Remy, looking at all of his stealthy object, and suddenly says, "Oh yeah, we're doing a heist," and then he looks around and sees Fisher. So you have the mage. You have the mage that arrives next to you, and yes, I do agree with you, little black-feathered one. There is something that stands out a little bit in your group. Maybe for all of your purchases, I can make one free add-on to everything you've just purchased. It's not much, but I'm sure it's going to help. And he takes out a little bead. It looks like a little marble. And he hands it to you, Fisher. And he just says, all you have to do is whisper to the little marble, "It's too bright in here." And he looks at you expectantly as you're holding this little marble in your hand.
It's too bright in here.
Suddenly, the light dims around you, Fisher. You don't see it, but everyone else does. It just goes down one level.
Say it again.
Well, yeah, you said everybody else sees it, but I don't see it.
In the sense that you don't see it, as in your sight is
My
not
sight
affected
isn't
by
affected
it.
by it. Do I also just not notice the effect?
Well, if you look at your body, you will notice that your chrome has gone down one level in shining.
Mm.
But if you're just like this and you just say it and then you look around and you look at everyone, no, you're not going to see any difference.
Yeah, I'll say it again. Is too bright in here?
It goes back to normal.
Okay, no, it doesn't keep going down. It brought the
What
light
happened?
level down.
Oh,
level.
okay.
For the
Sweet.
whole world. No,
Yeah, the whole world. Somebody's like,
Actually, it would be hilarious if it actually made the whole world just a little bit darker.
Well,
they
Nobody
couldn't figure out
notices.
how to do just the person, so they're like, actually, we just cloak the sun a little bit.
no, you were too bright. We forget
That was
out a way to dim the sun. That sounds like what a gnome would do.
Yeah.
It's too
Yeah, it was
hard.
hard to make it so just you were affected, so it's easier to turn the light down. Than... Why, thank you.
The wizard looks at you and says, "It's on the house. I feel like your friend's gonna like you a little bit more during the next few days with this."
Mm-hmm. I appreciate it.
Now then, you have made all of your purchase. You are ready to go outside and tackle this new task. And I feel like there is some place that you want to go back before, maybe for planning more. But before you go, I did have a little bit of information for you, since you are actually going to try and go in there. Now, I don't know exactly what is involved inside of the defenses of that mage sanctum, but I can tell you that when it was made, there were large quantity of various material asked. Among them, things that would stand out. Very large quantity of dragon scaled infused metal plates. There were... Hey, we just got a raid of 20 people. Blackwater D&D. Nice. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you very much for the raid. I did not expect that. It's too bad you're arriving at the end of the episode, but
Right at the end.
yeah, hey. Thanks a lot. That's very much appreciated. I think I do have you in my list of channels, but you're never there when I finish the rebroadcast, so I would have rated you before. Hey, hello. So, well, like I was saying, there was a large quantity of dragon scale infused metal plates. Now, those are very, very useful if you're trying to isolate something in case of arcane explosions. I'm not sure if it was for the entire sanctum, but there's at least one room in there that's going to be very resilient to magic. There were large quantity of reflective surface also. So, either a hall of mirrors or someplace that is very, very protected against outside influences. I'm not sure about what all of this will be for, but I'm gonna let your imagination figure it out. Last but not least, a large quantity of clay. Yes, that is very possible that you will have golems in there. There were also various objects, all attuned toward spatial manipulation. So the room might be bigger in the inside on the outside, but there might also be something that will be able to move through anything in there. So prepare accordingly. Who knows what you'll have exactly. It may be all part of a single contraption, or it is part of a variety of contraptions in different rooms. So I hope it helps in at least some ways.
How well do you know the castle mage?
Oh, he is a very vain person, always trying to attain power, sometimes disregarding reason.
So standard old wizard stuff.
Yes, well, most wizard at least have some common sense, but it feels like for him, as long as he is confident he can contain any bad situation, he has little or no hesitation. So maybe you can appeal to his desire for power or vanity or anything like this. I am not sure, but he is very talented. That is why he was chosen to be the king's advisor and this humble castle main wizard.
Do you know if he has a preferred specialty of magic,
Well,
school-wise? Or is he kind of all over the place?
all wizards eventually have a predilection, and I am sure you are not surprised to learn that a person such as him would have chosen evocation as his predilection. So, things that go boom.
Yep.
If he wasn't a human, I would have believed he was a gnome, but here we have it. The lord of the castle does hold him in high regards because even though he is a little bit out there, he always bring result. And the king is willing to not pay too much attention so long as it doesn't kill any subjects. So I guess that
Has
gives
that happened before?
you. Well, it was given as a condition for him to have this sanctum, so at least once. And who knows, maybe it all happened on another island chain, and this is where they found him, and that island chain is nothing more than a desert now. That I do not know. But for now, the whole thing seems to be in balance. He does not kill subjects, he gives good advice, and he is good at keeping power in power. Though he's not the best of us. Some are even more powerful than him. But that would be the king's personal wizard. So the castle in which you're here is a lord. It's not the king of the island.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, wait, why does he have
No.
another?
This is why I use two nobility reference, king and lord.
Yeah.
The king is at the northernmost
Yeah.
castle
At the capital.
of the island chain. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes more sense.
I am guessing that your best chance at getting inside of the castle would be stealthily. If you wait for tempers to go down a little bit, I have heard that a group of person has tried to get inside of the castle with a mob. They may be slightly on alert for the next, at the very least, few hours, but possibly a few days. So
I stare at audience. I'm like, No way, really? Who could have thought that that would happen?
So
Anyway,
maybe
thank
wait
you.
a little bit until things cool down. But if you are brave enough, while all of this is happening, there are more guards at the gates and a little less inside of the castle. So that is up to you to decide what is most dangerous according to your specific abilities.
Yeah. We should definitely probably thank whoever broke in, More guards at the gate means less guards to go through at the castle.
Yeah, you got me there.
I am sorry, but I do not know exactly how I can help you get through the front gate. And of course, if I try to teleport you inside, the
I'm
alarms
assuming
will
there's-
ring immediately and you will be chased.
Yeah. It's okay, we'll figure it out. We appreciate all your help.
Is, speaking of alarms, outside of teleportation breaking, are there like more basic alarms? Just
Well,
like
there are the usual wards to protect against magical projectile and forceful entries. The gate can easily withstand without any larger protection. Any attempt that you would make to break through them with normal objects, so that would be very difficult. Of course, the walls are warded against magical means of climbing them, so if you have magical ropes, I would not try it. The enchantments.
lying.
Flying, well, there is a maximum range. You'd have to go higher than 500 feet above the walls. That is the minimum distance if no wards have been activated. If you think that there might be activated protection, I would recommend 1,500 feet, just to be sure. Going any lower than this may prompt some shocking defense, if you catch what I mean.
Does it catch a lot of birds?
Well,
Why do you think the nobles eat so well?
oh, now that you mention it, I haven't heard anyone talking about dead crows on the outside walls, so maybe they are smart walls. I never thought about this one.
Maybe Jorg smuggle us in?
Well, if he has a way to get you all in a very tight space, and I do mean
Do a
very
little-
tight because he would need to be able to wear you all.
Yeah.
Where?
I mean, we do the air bubble audiences.
Except George is
George
the one
Spade.
that cast air bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd have to be in there.
Well, you
You
can
don't
have to be in
on
there.
everybody before we go in there.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's more just if you wanted to get everybody using as few spell slots as possible, you'd have to use a higher level spell slot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is interesting. If you are thinking about flying all the way there, I would recommend that you do not land at the top of the wizard tower, because that is protected in many ways. You might find yourself flung into a different shard if you try. At least aim 10 level below. Now, how you will get from the place of, well, wherever Jorg, isn't it? Jorg will be able to enter to the mage sanctum. That will be up to you. I am pretty sure that there will be different wards inside, making sure that the invisible people are not easily concealed.
Yeah.
The spell non-detection, which I recently learned, is the target can't be targeted by any divination magic or perceived through magical scrying sensors. Would that protect against like magical alarms and stuff? Or is that like they can't see you with like see invisibility or like the literal like scry spell or like a locate creature thing?
Well, I think that would be interesting for most classic way of detecting things. I can't promise you that this wizard hasn't come up with a few original ways of countering something like this, but definitely would help against any sort of divination. Although I'm not sure it would help you a lot against such a small spell as alarm. But I'm gonna just check before I say something stupid.
Well, it's also an abjuration spell, so
Okay, yeah. So that is thinking.
But it would definitely help against magical eye there to detect invisible things walking through corridors. So, as I said, you might have your way to counter normal ways of being detected, but maybe not more refined ones.
Speaking of which, you got some diamond dust, spell component wise, that I could.
Pretty sure that would be easy to sell you. How much do you need exactly?
Let's see, it is 25 gold per cast. Let's just get. Right, let's get 10.
That should be easy enough to do. Give me a moment. And he comes back a few minutes later. Here you go. Since you mentioned they were for casting and you wanted 10 casting, I took the liberty of putting them each in an individual bag.
I have a bunch of dime bags of diamond dust.
Well, I have a large box
Don't snort
of
it.
dusted diamonds, and I simply...
I appreciate it. Thank you.
you know, Raimi is always just going to be a little bit sad about the existence of any gem dust.
Mhm.
No matter how
What
useful it is.
Or what was ruined.
When,
If you think about it, it's just a million tiny gems.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it actually does go with something that I was just about to say. When Remy sees all of those bags of gems, of dusted gems, and there's this, glistening in your eyes that appears when you see all these bags, the wizard looks at you and, fear not. There are natural ways of getting this, have you ever thought about the impressive realms you can find in shards? Oh yes, there are shards where there are a river made of gem dusts.
I need to go to bed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if there is nothing else to buy, I believe the wizard has given you all the information that you need. So if you don't have anything else to buy, we can end it right here as you're stepping out of the store.
And all the whole constabulary is ready.
Yeah.
Wands up.
All right. So purchases are
Sold us
done.
out. Yep.
Okay. So, with all of your purchases done, you pocket everything. You feel very stylish with your new goggles.
Oh yeah.
You all step outside and notice that the freezing rain has stopped. But it is still very slippery everywhere because it stopped maybe 10 minutes ago. So it still feels like an ice skating ring.
I sure hope the townsfolk survived.
And everything goes to the dark. We fade to black with those words. I sure hope the people are alright.
The guards actually slaughtered all of them, and it provoked a full-on uprising. So
Now you're going to be
whole
stuck
city-
making a heist in the middle of a peasant siege.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm
All
off to
thanks
bed.
to audience.
Good night, guys.
All right, bye. Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Everything goes to complete another disarray when someone leaves the call. Hold on. At least try and give us a little bit of order as we leave. 3 players. 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, this one. No, that's not the right one. Yeah, it's this one here. 1, 2, 3. Well, people aren't at the right place, but at least we got people there. Sorry, Remy, you suddenly became Jorg. Jorg, you suddenly became audience.
No!
Well, if it makes you feel better, I also have to go to bed, so you might
Oh,
get
damn.
booted out.
Alright, so let's change again.
Good night.
Bye, good night. Alright, hold on. This, and this. This is disadvantage of having to play with this. But, this guy decided to do the selfish thing. And... Aha, that's yours. Alright, we're gonna put you back where you belong. Here you go. And who's that? That's... No, I don't want this. Alright, so that's the one here? Okay, good. We're good. Yay! We got everyone at their place. Alright, so... It's only going to last a few minutes. Alright, so thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hope you had a pleasant whatever part of the day it is, wherever you are in the world. Hope you'll be there next week, because apparently next week we are actually trying this. Well, we might have a bit of planning to do first, but I think that at the latest, at the end of the episode, we'll try and start this heist. If not, well, sooner. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for being here. If you missed today's episode that you had at the last time, thinking about all of you raiders, there is a rebroadcast of the live session on Friday. Because Wednesday is the live broadcast, but also the broadcast schedule is 7:30 Western Coast time, and the rebroadcast on Friday is 7:30 Eastern Coast time. So aimed at the two different audience. In between, we have map making. That right now I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna be doing next. We had started making a new settlement, but I don't know. We've been talking about something at the end of the episode, maybe doing some world building for the maps we already made. So I'm not sure yet. Maybe one of those two things. We'll see. Yeah, that's the entire schedule for those of you who might still be there from the raid and listening to what the channel schedule is. So, that is it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you want to support us, we have a variety of ways for you to do so, because we have Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Patreon, so you can follow, leave likes, comments, become Patreon, subscribe, and of course you can always make a donation. Very much appreciated. The information for all of those are below the window. And if you want to do more, or if you can't do any of those and still want to do something, spreading the word of the channel. It helps, I promise. That's everything I can say. Anything you'd like to say?
Pineapple.
Interesting choice.
Belongs on pizza.
Ah, come on. I'm trying to attract people now.
Exactly. It's the rage bait.
Okay, yeah. I agree.
It's what we call engagement farming.
Yeah, any engagement is good engagement.
All right, so thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Hope you don't rage too hard in my emails. And hope to see you again next week. So, thank you. And as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Good night.
It's neat.